Hello and welcome to BeadsJar. My name's Billy and today's project that I've created is this beautiful fruit salad bracelet. It's using the Tila beads and the Swarovski crystals, and we've also incorporated a beautiful little button fastening for this one. So we're going to start on our amazing Tila and Swarovski crystal bracelet. So the ingredients we're going to use, we've got the fire line, which is the £8, and I've got a 50-yard bobbin here. I've also got my precision scissors, a size 10 beading needle, and I'm going to start with a 2-meter length of the fire line because we can use a half hitch knot to add at any point. And if you start with too much thread, it just gets in your way. The other thing on the table that you can see, we've got size 15s in that beautiful hot pink. I've got the Swarovski crystals, these half Tilas and the full Tilas. For the fastening, I'm going to use one of the Swarovski pearls. This one's an 8mm. And to start my project, I've just got a basic 6mm plain bead. This won't actually be used in the design, but just gets us started on the project. So here we go. So as I said, we're going to start with the starting bead. So we're going to go through that bead with our beading needle, and you're going to take that to the end of your thread. Leave about a 20cm tail because we'll need that for the fastening on the opposite side. So go back up through the bottom to the top to secure the starting bead in place. So we're just creating a little loop like so. So that's going to sit there, and then we can start threading. So the first bead I'm going to use is a full Tila, and I've gone from the bottom through to the top. So I'm just going to take my beading needle and I'm going to position that near to the starting bead. Doesn't have to be up close just yet. The next beads I'm going to put on are 2 hot pink seed beads, and I'm going to follow that with one of the 4mm Swarovski crystals, and then I'm going to add another 2 seed beads, and then a full Tila. So that's the order you should have threaded now onto your fire line. So we've got the full Tila, 2 seeds, crystal, 2 seeds, and the Tila. I'm now going to take the thread back through the opposite hole of the second Tila bead. Okay, and bring that down. It'll move around at the moment, but as we start progressing with the make, the beads will sit more solidly in a position. So after I've come back through my Tila, I'm going to then add another 2 hot pink seed beads to the design. So I've got my 2 pink beads here, and I'm going to take the needle now through the 4mm crystal and out to the side. So I'm just going to reposition that for a moment while I go back through the crystal. And then we're coming out and not back through the 2 seed beads we'd put on. Okay, so you'll start to see that design a bit better now as I pull the tension in the thread. So we've gone up, around, 2 seeds, and out through the crystal. And then we're going to add another 2 hot pink seed beads onto our needle, like so, and through the right hand hole of the first Tila bead that we put on. And down. It looks a little bit like a little bow to start with. Okay, like I say, we can get these tensions correct when we need to. So that's the starting point. I'm now going to put another tiller that's going to sit next to the first one, and we're going to create rows. So I'm going to go through the left hand hole with my beading needle, so bottom to top, and then I'm going to take that needle and I'm going to go through the first tiller that we placed on, but the right hand hole, so just going all the way through with your needle. So that's just the tiller bead, and as we pull that, the third tiller we've now added is going to come and sit next to the first one. So we've made a loop round with our thread, so it's gone round like so, and then we're going to go back up through the same hole to put that in position. So they're going to sit side by side. Okay, so we've come out now and we're facing upwards again, and now I'm going to place my half tiller onto my beading needle. At this moment in time it doesn't matter if it slips around, we just want to get one of those on the needle and thread and drop that down so you can see where it's sitting. So it's just spun round, but that will sit flat this way when we're done. And then I'm going to add 3 seed beads above the half tiller, another half tiller and a full tiller above that one. Okay, so I'll just pause there to show you what we've got threaded up. So we've come and secured this first one, the third tiller to the first one, half tiller, 3 seeds, half tiller and a full tiller. Now we want this one to sit next to the second one we placed on. So you're going to go through the right hand hole and out through the bottom, but not through the seed beads. So just the tiller bead, like so. And that will pull that section in together, and we're going to go up through the 4th tiller on the left hand hole, and as we tighten that thread you can see that they are now sat all side by side. You're then going to take your needle and go back down through the half tiller as well. So come through with your needle and then thread 3 of your hot pink seed beads onto your beading needle. Okay, and we also now are going to go back through both the half tiller and the full tiller bead. And as you can see, that's come out of the bottom there, and so forth. So now you're on to your 5th tiller bead to sit on this side. So we thread that on, and then we're going to go down through the right hand hole of our 3rd tiller that we placed. So back, down, won't sit straight away into position, we might need to just secure it with the second one going up. So up, and now we are on to our same repetition of pattern as the start beads that we placed on here. So that is the 2 seed beads, 1 crystal and 2 seed beads and your full tiller. I'll just do one more of these sections so you can really get an idea of how this is going to look when it starts to come together. So we're going to go down, bringing that together, and then this thread is going to come across and we're going to go up through that 6th Tila bead, and now up through to the top. I'll just finish this section and then we can move on to the next part of the make. So I've come out here, back down, oops, not into that Tila, and take your thread, needle and thread through. Get that positioned nicely, and we're back to adding the 2 seed beads, and we're going to go back through the crystal as well, but just the crystal, and then off to the side like so, and then another 2 and back through our Tila bead. So you can see that's really starting to come along and sit nicely together. So when you move on to your next section, so your 7th Tila bead here, you're going to repeat that middle part. And when you finish, so when you've got the length that you want, remember you're going to have about 3 centimeters for our fastener as well in length. So allow that when you're making your band across, but finish on the same pattern that you started. So this one here, the crystal. So you'll have now completed a long length of your beads in the order that we have been threading them, and you should have finished on the same pattern that you started, so the same as both sides. My thread is coming out of the right hand bottom of the Tila bead. Now in order to start our fastening, we're actually now going to go back to the left hand side, and I'm going to take this needle up through the 2 seed beads and the Swarovski. So I've just made sure I've got my needle and thread through all of those beads. And then I'm going to take this through these 2 seeds and up through the left hand of the top Tila. Okay, I'm just going to pull my cord through. So I'm now out of the top left hand Tila, and I'm going to go back through the top Tila on the right hand side, but this time I'm not going through the seed beads, so I'm just coming out underneath the Tila bead. Okay, so we're now starting with our thread on this side. I'm going to add 7 hot pink seed beads here. So I'm going to make my button loop end first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got my 7 seed beads on here, 4, 6, 7, and I'm going to take them down towards the Tila bead. So I've got the 7 on, and now I'm going to add another crystal. So I'm going to go through the crystal and take that back down to the seed beads. And then I'm going to add 27 more seed beads on to form my button loop. Okay, so I've now threaded my loop of 27. That's going to go and sit next to the crystal. So that's what we have there. And my needle's now going to come back through, and I want to come through the crystal and the 7th bead that I added before that. So back through the crystal and then back out through that 7th bead, but not the 6 others. And then I'm just going to pull that so that we've got our tension correct. And we know that that is going to perfectly fit the 8mm, so it'll act as a little bead and button. So in order to secure all this now, we're going to add 6 seed beads onto our beading needle. So 2, 4, 5, 6, and you're going to now take the needle and go back through the top hole in that last tiller and out to the bottom. So that's creating our fastener. We don't want to just finish that one just yet, because we're now going to take our beading needle back up the first hole and through the 2 seed beads like we've done before. So I'm just going to go back up and through those other 2 seed beads, and I'm actually going to work all the way around the fastener 2 times. And now we're going to go back down through the tiller and all the way around the fastener again, and this will reinforce this whole fastening set, and then I will get to the half hitch knot. So I'm just going to complete this full circuit, and then I will show you how to do the half hitch knot to secure your thread off. Just making sure I've got my needle through all these beads. So I've just got one last one to be doing, and then I'm going to go back through the tiller. So we're going back on ourselves through this tiller bead. Okay, so I've now gone through all this fastening section twice, and that's really nice and secure, and that's not going to come undone. And now I'm going to show you how you'd finish with your half hitch knot. So I'm just going to go up through the first hole, so the left hand hole in this tiller, but not through the seed beads. So that's my needle coming out there. I'm then going to loop across. So I want to do that. I'm going to do this about 3 times. So I've just come across a bit further away from the fastener, and then I know that that's really, really, really well connected. Oops, not through the seed bead though. And then on this one, when I come down on the right hand side, so I've come out of this bottom tiller, and I'm just going to go through that bottom loop. And you'll see I'm forming a loop here with the thread. Now before I tighten that completely, I'm going to go back through, so basically just creating a knot with the thread and my needle. And then I really, really, really want to push this tight up against the tiller bead. So I've created my knot, and I'm going to go back up through that tiller next to it to pull that knot in so that we can't see it along the bottom here. And then back through, and I would repeat that step again And now I shall move on to showing you how to connect the other side of your fastener. Right, so we've finished attaching the other side of the fastener, so we go back to our starting point where we began the whole bracelet weaving. I've removed the starter bead, so you can just take that off, and I've also, when we came out of this bottom tiller, I've also repassed up through, just like we did on the other side, and come out just to the side of the tiller at the top. So it's just coming out above the seed beads on this section. I've restrung the beading needle, so once you're all in that position, you're then going to add your next bit of the fastener so that it connects to the other side. So we're going to put 7 seed beads So we've got 7 seed beads on our thread, and then I'm going to take this Swarovski pearl and I'm going to go through that with our beading needle as well. Above the pearl, I'm going to add 3 seed beads onto the beading needle. So we've got our 3 beads there, and I'm going to move them to up a little bit on the wire, and I'm going to take the needle through the pearl and the first bead that's next to that one. Okay, and then we're going to bring that back down. Just pulling that in. So the beads are securing that top section, and now I've got 6 beads to add on the opposite side. So 6 seed beads. Six seed beads, and then we're going to take this needle and we're going to go back through the top hole of that bottom tiller bead and straight down, like so. So you can see that now, and this will connect to our loop end. So as before, I'm going to take this all the way up, right round the beads, and then back down, and then finish with my half hitch knot further down the bracelet to complete it. I hope you've enjoyed that project, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and let us know your feedback about this one or any other projects that you'd like to see us create for you. Bye!